Or do you plan to be one of those who are positioned for the massive opportunities it will bring? I would like you to keep this question in mind as we go forward. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Oh, here we go. This is another person who is fear mongering about AI taking jobs. I mean, fair. Everyone is talking about AI taking jobs and how AI is changing the job market. And it's very exhausting. But I've got to ask you a question. When was the last time you applied for a high-paying job and your resume was reviewed by a human first? And I'm not talking about the jobs that pay low. I'm talking about the jobs that really matter. The ones that make you stay up late and say, hey, it would be great if I get this job. This job could be life-changing for me. Because in those companies where their revenue is yay high, and because of that, they're able to pay you really well, they don't have the time to do the things that AI can do. This is because they set up systems that automate everything. So when you apply for jobs in this company, your resume is first getting reviewed not by a human, but by an algorithm. As a matter of fact, some people would apply and instantly they would get rejected. And you start thinking, is something wrong with me? Why was my application rejected immediately? It wasn't a human. It was an ATS that read through your profile and said, nah, we're not going to be talking to this person. The screening process is already automated at top companies, and today it's coming all the way down. And that's because everywhere time is a valuable resource. If your resume doesn't have the right keywords, including AI tools and skills, which many roles are requiring these days, it means that you don't even make it to the pile that gets to the HR's table. So we can debate whether or not AI should change things, or we can deal with the fact that it already has, and then say, how exactly can we position ourselves to take advantage of this? Now, the job market in 2026 is not going to be like what it was in 2019, in 2023, or even in 2025. The rules have changed. The rules are changing with every innovation. With every automation, everything is changing. So now what we're going to be walking through today is how you can strategically scale your career in 2026. So think about it as moving from being a valued employee to you becoming an indispensable asset to whatever company you choose to work with. My name is Dolafemi, and I have spent over a decade building and scaling companies. And my focus now at 10 Analytics is on one thing: preparing people for high income opportunities that exist in the world and in 2026 and beyond. So before we get into today's session, and we're going to be spending about 60 minutes, just because I know that everyone has other things that they would like to do, and I would love you to take the information that you need out of this and make a very fast decision. So just some housekeeping before we get in. If you have any friends, anyone that you think would be fantastic, someone who you think is ambitious, just like you, but they're not here on this call, this is the perfect time for you to send them the link so they can join this conversation. Trust me, it's going to be impactful to their career as we go into 2026. And my team is also going to be sharing a link in the chat section, an attendance form. So if at any point you drop off in the conversation, it would be great for you to pick that up, and you can watch the recording of this session. You can also gain access to the slides that I'm using today. So it's important that you fill out that form. Otherwise, we can't send you this information. Now, finally, I would love to meet all of the amazing people that we have here on the call. So before we get into today's session, if you could do me a favor, just type in your name and what you currently do in the chat section. So you could say Lola, Operations Manager. I want to know the diverse talents that is represented in the room today. So your name and what you do. Okay, we've got David George, who is a product manager. Interesting. Nice to meet you, David George. Okay, we've got Uche, data scientist. Ooh, okay. Okay, we've got a lot of tech people on the call today. We've got Tolulope, Toluwade. Okay. What do you do, Tolulope? Do you want to share that with us? We've got Folajimi Matthew. Okay. Product designer. Interesting. Okay. We've got two product designers here, product and brand designer. So we've got three technologists. Okay. Like I said, we've got amazing talent being represented. We've got a teacher here as well. Okay. Interesting. We've got amazing talent being represented here in the house today. Nice to meet everyone. So if you're thinking, hey, I want to get into AI and I'm not sure where to start from, I probably should have gotten into this last year or something. I wanted to just take around and look at the massive potential that is sharing this room with us, and you are part of this people. So I would say that you are actually in great company. Okay, so let's get into today's session. Let's break down the job market and how you can go about it starting today. If you're raising your hand, I will be taking questions after this session. All right, so now you might be wondering, who is Tenalytics and why should I listen to them? That is a fair question. Now, on the surface, you could look at Tenalytics and call us an e-learning platform, but that's not what we really are. That's like calling a university a collection of buildings. So what do we actually do at Tenalytics? We exist for one reason, and that is to close the gap between the career that you have today and the career that the market is desperately searching for tomorrow and today. So think about the people that you saw in the chat. You saw product designers, you saw product managers, you saw teachers, you saw amazing diverse talents being represented. People just like you. Many of these people already work in tech, but they are here because they're asking themselves, how can I empower myself with the skills of tomorrow? How can I do what I do better by applying AI, by applying data to it? These are the people Tenalytics business was created to help. We're basically the answer to the question, how can I use AI to become better at what I do? Now, we don't just provide you with courses, we provide you with what I would call a bridge. Now, we take the raw potential that you have and refine it into specific high-value skills that companies are budgeting for right now. And our mission is brutally simple. We train people to get hired. It's not about just empowering you with skills or professional development options. At the end of the day, what does that translate into? What is the impact of all of these activities? And that impact is you being able to get a job or build an AI agency. Whatever that looks like for you, we want to help you get there. Now, Tenalytics business is how we scale this mission. We've partnered with various companies like Fairmoney, like MTN, like AfriInvest, and we've helped them future-proof their entire workforce. So if you're here and you also own a business and you're wondering how you can equip your staff with AI skills to drive your revenue up, then you're in the right conversation. So think of Tenalytics business as your strategic partner. We show you the map, and then we also walk with you across the bridge to the other side. So we're not just going to say, hey, here are fantastic new skills, go into the market, and then, see what you can do about it. We're going to help you and guide you every step of the way. And we've been perfecting this for the last 5 years. We've done this over and over and over again, and we've been able to help over 3,000 people get to the next steps in their career, and you could be one of them. I'm hoping that every single person on this call is going to be one of them. As we go along, I'm going to be sharing some amazing testimonials, and I want you to put yourself in this mindset where you're thinking, I would like that to be me in 2026. Now, you might be thinking, who is Lola Femi and why is she qualified to talk to me about the next stage in my career? But when you take a look at my profile, you might think, oh, she's held some really big titles, So what does this mean for me? How does this impact me? Now, all of these roles that you can see listed here, from fintech to e-commerce, they all had one thing in common. I was always the person who was brought in to solve a very specific problem, and that is the problem of skill. How do you take something that works and make it work for thousands of, even millions of people? How do you build a system that doesn't break under pressure? And this is the exact same problem that every professional is facing with their career, at least for the people who say, I want to move forward, but how do I move forward? So how do you scale your own value? How do you make your skills work for a global market, not just for a local one? How do you make yourself employable in any part of the world? So when I joined Tenalytics, I didn't just come here to teach. In sessions like this, I came here to build, and I took everything that I learned scaling platforms to build a different kind of system, a system that doesn't move money, but a system that moves people, a system that can take a talented individual and reliably transform them into a high demand global professional. We're going to be talking more about this as we go along, but that's what we call transferable skills. So why does this matter to you? It means that today you are not just getting a facilitator, you are getting a builder. You're getting someone who understands what companies are desperately looking for, because I've been in these rooms. I've interviewed lots of people, hundreds of people. Sometimes I think it's in the thousands because I stopped counting at some point in my career. And I have also been interviewed. I have built teams, so I know exactly what makes a candidate indispensable. So at this point, we've built this system for you. And now I'm just going to show you, give you the blueprint and say, hey, this is how you can step into the system and how you can win from day one. Now, I want you to look at this image on my screen. I want you to look at this. It's crazy, but this is reality. This is a logistics, this is a warehouse facility. And 5 years ago, there were hundreds of employees. Today, that number is in double digits. The other people, they weren't fired. They just, they were fired, and then, their roles were not rehired for when they left. Their jobs were quietly automated by people who saw a vision and said, we can use AI to solve a lot of problems. So when we talk about AI, people tend to think AI is a distant problem. I'm going to worry about AI later, but it's literally happening now. It's happening today. So when you're thinking, oh, I'm going to solve for this later, if you're ready to move forward in your career and go to the next stage, you need to be thinking about right now. How do I equip myself? Because all of these things, all of these systems are being automated. It's happening right now, and it could hit your industry at any point. For example, when it comes to things like, even product design these days, you could just go and use an app builder and you could develop an app. You could get product design, you could get a bunch of codes, and this is stuff that you had to get an entire team for you to work with in the past. So there are so many amazing tools that are automating so many industries, so many workflows. And the question is, how exactly can you apply AI so that you come out on top and you're one of those people who are the cream of the crop when the rest are getting automated away? That's the question. So I would like you to keep one thing in mind. AI is not coming. AI is already here. The question is, how exactly can you win? So what exactly are you going to be walking away with today? We've established the problem. AI is here. The job market has changed. You're feeling the pressure. But here's the good news. You do not have to figure this out alone. In the next couple of minutes, I'm going to be giving you the exact framework that's working right now for people who are successfully navigating ships like this. And by the end of our time today, you're going to walk away with three things. The first of which is you will know the rules of the game. Most people are still playing by the old rule book, focus on your job description, keep your heads down, that playbook is obsolete. If you ask some people, what exactly did you do in this company? They will go and they will copy the job description and then they will send that to you. Like I said, obsolete. So together, we're going to be decoding the 3 new roles that actually leads to career advancement now. Second, we're going to cut through the noise on skills. We're going to know exactly which skills are required, which ones are not just buzzwords, which ones are the most valuable and future-proof for 2026. This is all about focusing your energy on what will give you the highest return so that you can stop wasting your time. Now, the third thing is I'm going to be sharing a blueprint with you to build your own strategic roadmap. And this is not like a one size fits all. It's a practical plan that connects where you are right now to the real opportunities in the market. Now, let's talk about the 2 types of professionals that exist today in the job market. Now, it's like a fork in the road, and it exists for every single professional. You either belong in one category or you belong in the other category. At the end of this, I would like you to identify if you're professional 1 or if you are professional 2. Now, professional 1 is a person who defines themselves by their job description. They focus on activities. They're completing their tasks, they're sending reports, they're attending meetings. Their value is measured by how busy they are. These are the people who, when you say, what exactly do you do? They will go copy their job description and share it with you, because that is exactly what they do. So when this person hears about a new AI tool, what is the first thing they think about? Is this going to replace me? Because deep down, you know that you're not driving any fantastic outcome. Is this going to make my job obsolete? That is the question they keep asking themselves. They see technology as a threat, so they resist it and they avoid learning anything. They just hope that it goes away, that it never gets to them. They think that you have to be a genius, an Einstein, to use AI, so they don't even try. These people are stuck and they refuse to grow. So what is the result of that mindset in 2026? It's not a pretty one. This sort of people, they become vulnerable. They become vulnerable. When the budget gets tight, the first people to be restructured away are the ones who are seen as a cost center. The ones who just complete tasks, the ones who, when you think about it, they're not doing anything fantastic. I can actually just build an AI, an automation system, and automate your role away. These are the first people in line for job cuts. They are in direct competition with every other task completer, and increasingly with automation itself. Now let's look at the other side, the other type of professional, the hybrid value creator. Now, this person doesn't just have a job title, they have a mission. Their focus is not just on activities, but on business outcomes and the problems that they have solved. They're asking themselves, what problem am I solving? How am I moving the needle for this company? When this person sees a new AI tool, their first thought is, how can I use this as my co-pilot? How can this tool help me solve bigger problems faster? They see technology as a leverage, as a force multiplier that allows them to deliver 10 times the impact. So these people develop AI skills that helps them deliver results faster, which actually makes them better at their jobs. So what is the result of this? In 2026, even in 2025, this person is promotable. They are pivot ready, meaning that they can adapt to new roles as they emerge. They are seen as indispensable because they are directly tied to growth and results. And what happens is that companies do not cut this kind of people, they fight to keep them. These are the people who would get offers in other companies and say, hey, I'm leaving. And the company would say, how much is it going to cost for us to keep you? So I want you to take an honest look at yourself and ask yourself, what path am I on right now? Are you focused on just checking off tasks, or are you focused on delivering undeniable value? So this is a self-reflection point, and I want us to identify. This is just be very honest with yourself. Are you stuck in pre-AI thinking? Are you afraid of AI? Or are you taking advantage of the opportunities? If you're not, that's exactly why we're having this conversation. But tell me, are you professional one or are you professional two? Please share that in the chat section. Professional one or professional two. Okay. I would like this to be a very interactive session, so I'll just be waiting for you to share this. Are you professional one? Are you leveraging AI, or are you afraid of AI? Let's be very honest with ourselves. Okay, I can see that Arimi Kolawole says professional two. Okay, fantastic. Amazing. And then what we're going to be talking about is how you can take that to the next level. Vincent says professional one. Okay, that's still great. And the fact that you recognize that and you're here today gives us the opportunity to help you. Okay, we're seeing Daniel, Blessing, two. Daniel is one. We have King, who is two. We have professional one. And what is 1.5? Okay, so you're somewhere in the middle. Okay, amazing. So we're seeing a lot of ones, and then we're also seeing some twos as well. It's great that you're able to identify what part of the divide that you're on. And like I said before, if you remember, 10 Analytics business is the bridge. So whatever part it is that you are on, if you're on one, if you're in two, and you're thinking, okay, I'm at two right now, and I just want to take it to the next level. I just need some guidance and I need some support. You're in the right place. So keep that in mind as we go on. Now, if you think this divide that I just highlighted is my opinion, I want to show you that the data already confirms that this is happening, right? This is a forecast based on what companies are doing right now. Now, if you look at this is an article from Gartner, and it's saying that AI won't kill jobs, but it will reshape 32 million jobs a year. Let me explain what reshape means. It doesn't mean that your job title just changes. It means that the work inside your job is being fundamentally altered. The tasks you spent 80% of your time on last year could be completely automated or augmented by AI next year. If your skills aren't being reshaped along with it, what happens is that you become irrelevant. And this is why it matters the way you think about AI. It's not, oh, AI is going to come and take my job. It's AI is reshaping the industry. And when the industry is reshaping, the people in the industry also have to reshape themselves as well. Now, if you look at the survey here, nearly 4 in 10 companies will replace AI workers with AI by 2026. But there's a critical part here that most people miss. If you read the fine print, and again, guys, if you want to gain access to this, please fill out the attendance form that my colleagues are dropping in the chat section, and you can gain access to read up on these articles at your own time. Now, if you read the fine print here, it says that the new workers are also working on the jobs and workflows of the company. So what this means is that companies aren't just firing people and leaving roles empty. What is happening here is they are replacing the traditional employee with a new kind of worker. Remember the worker we identified before, the hybrid value creator who uses AI to manage the workflows of the entire company. Now, this brings us to the most important question. It's no longer, can you do the job? The baseline assumption is that you can. But the real question is, can you do it 10 times faster with AI? So you're a product designer. Can you do it 10 times faster with AI? You're a product manager. Can you do it 10 times faster with AI? Why exactly should you be chosen over the hundreds or the thousands of people who apply for that job? alongside you? What gives you the unique edge that you can use to say, okay, I'm different. I'm not just going to come in here and manage your product. I'm going to take it to the next level because I know what AI skills to use. I know when to use them. So I know how to deliver value faster. And that in turn drives your revenue up. So the questions employers will be asking is, can you analyze data 10 times faster? Can you manage this project 10 times faster? Can you generate reports 10 times faster? And your ability to answer yes to these questions is what will determine your value in the job market. And in a nutshell, this is the reality check. And if you are not positioned for this in 2026, then you're seriously missing. Now, I want to paint a picture for everyone here. If you remember when ChatGPT launched in 2022, and the world went crazy. Everyone was saying, oh my goodness, AI is so cool because now you could just open your phone and you could have a conversation with AI. I don't know how many people think about this, but I still do. Sometimes I catch myself chatting with AI and I think, how trippy is this that I can chat with AI? Like this is some what do they call, some cyberpunk movie, but you can have conversations with AI these days. How trippy is that? Now, in 2022, when ChatGPT launched, it was a cool thing, but many companies were already thinking, how exactly can we use this to work faster? Then so a lot of things were trending. People were saying things like, you can now generate PRDs, product requirements documents, business requirement documents with ChatGPT. And it seemed like, hey, this is really cool. It would help make my job faster. And then for the companies at the top, they're already seeing way more potential in AI. And then what started to happen is that it created this rush for talents that had AI. Now, what is the main reason a business exists? If you're here and if you run a business, that is, I want to throw that question to the house actually. What is the main reason a business exists? As a business owner, what is your primary goal? What do you want out of that business? I want someone to help us answer that question. What is the main reason a business exists? Or as a business owner, what is your primary goal? What do you want out of that business? What do you want out of that business? To make profits. Thank you very much, Daniel. To make profits, to generate revenue. Fantastic. Now, you see, there's one thing that I always say people should apply to their job search. I say apply empathy. Because when you apply empathy, you are able to put yourself in the shoes of the employers, in the shoes of the recruiters, and ask yourself a question: what exactly would I see here that would convert me, that would make me want to call this candidate? Now, for all of these companies that automated their workflows with AI, they began to see that it was driving their revenue up because naturally it saves your resources. It means that the things that you used to do that will take you hours or will take you days to do it, you were able to deliver it faster and to get paid faster. So naturally that created a rush for AI talent. And that rush has just kept on increasing every single year, from 2022 to 23 to 24 to 25. And the reason why you can trust this demand that is being created for AI is because we know that AI can help you deliver workflows faster. And then another thing that we also can trust is that businesses exist for profit. So long as AI continues to drive revenue up by automating workflows and just, saying, okay, yeah, this is manual. I'm just going to help you. I'm going to save 3 days of your time. I'm going to save 10 hours of your time and deliver this in 1 hour or in 30 minutes. You can trust that it's always going to be relevant. Always. Now, how exactly do you cross the divide and become the hybrid value creator? That is the question here. It all comes down to 3 new rules. So forget everything that you thought you knew about getting ahead. We're going to be condensing everything into 3 rules. And rule number 1 is you must shift from tasks to outcomes. Now, remember that we already identified that the number one reason businesses exist is to make money. And this is why I said you must shift from tasks to outcomes. There are so many talented people who are trapped on the hamster wheel of task completion. You know how the hamster wheel is, where you just keep rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling, So these people are busy, but they are not valuable. The most important question you can ask yourself every single day is, what problem did I solve today? I remember one time when I was consulting with a company, and I joined appraisal reviews, and we were just going through things because the idea was to see what roles can we automate in this company. And so I was in their meetings. I was just trying to find where exactly do we have problems that we can solve and identify opportunities for automation. And there was one thing that really stood out during appraisals and when people were having conversations with their managers. It was all, I went to get water, I took a walk to the park, I fed the birds. You know what I'm trying to say? It was all activities. There were no numbers. People could not back up their impact with numbers. It was not metrics driven. And as a professional, as someone who is looking to be taken seriously in the market, this is one of the biggest mistakes that you can make. If you're not asking yourself, what problem can I solve today? And that problem is not being translated into value, you are seriously doing yourself a disservice. If you cannot ask yourself, how can I save the company money? And in some cases, you would find that some people would say things like, what I do is very technical. I'm not sure how I save money. I was talking to a technical developer, and I said, so I want you to tie your impact to revenue. I want you to be able to say, so this is what a feature that I used, this is what it was able to generate, or this is the time that it saves, which led to, a X revenue increase. And then what he told me was, I'm not sure, because what I do is very technical. So I'm not sure if there's any way that I save the company money. And I said, no. That is, again, one of the biggest mistakes a professional can make. It doesn't matter if you're doing something as archaic as data entry or customer support. Whatever it is that you do, your role exists because it is needed by the company. It means that it impacts the bottom line. So you should always be able to extract value from that and say, what exactly is my impact? So as someone who is shifting from the mindset of tasks to outcomes, you want to ask yourself, did I save the company money? Did I bring in a new client? Did you maybe make a process 50 times faster, saving time and resources? This is the language of impact. And that is the only language that companies are paying for right now. So remember those days when people would act busy, when your boss walks by, when you clock into the office and then you just be sitting on your chair, maybe you'd be sleeping, and then your colleague kicks and say, hey, the boss is coming, and you quickly wake up and you start to act busy. Nobody pays you for activities anymore, at least not the jobs that matter, not the jobs that you're trying to get. Now, rule number 2, how do you become a tool using professional? So think of AI tools today, like people thought of spreadsheets 10 years ago. If you couldn't use a spreadsheet, you were not considered a serious professional. And it is the same today with AI. If you couldn't use a computer 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, nobody was going to take you seriously, because what are you coming here to do? Do you think we are here to play? If you couldn't use a computer. So that is the same logic that applies today with AI. AI is now considered the bare minimum for many companies. When it comes to hiring, it is the bare minimum. They would not even have conversations with candidates who don't know how to apply AI to their workflows, because they are aware of how much time it saves. So to put it into perspective for you, you don't even have to be technical to use this. It's just like saying you have to know how to build a car before you drive a car. But that's not true. You don't have to build the car before you drive it. So in this case, You don't have to be technical before you learn how to use AI and apply AI to your workflows to make yourself faster. Now, rule number 3, and this is the one that's going to set you apart: build a portfolio of proof, not a list of duties. This also feeds into rule number 1. Remember that we are shifting from tasks to outcomes. Now, let me give an example. Nobody cares that you manage social media accounts. Nobody cares that you launched a product in the market. And I've seen so many resumes. Sometimes I just smile when I see some of them, and they'll say things like, I redesigned the architecture, or I helped the company sign a new deal with a brand ambassador or something. Again, this to me sounds like a lot of activities. What people want to see is impact, right? So people want to see things like, for example, how we used AI-driven analytics to increase engagement by 30%. Now, notice what I did there. I added a number there, 30%. And now I'm thinking in my head, as someone who is recruiting, I'm already thinking to myself, okay, this is interesting. This person drove it up by 30%. Now, they don't care that you organized data. They care that you built an AI agent that automates monthly reporting, saving 20 hours per month. Your new resume is not like it's not a document. It's a collection of projects that scream, I know how to get things done in this world. And usually what people would do is you would have your resume, and then you would also link your portfolio there as well, because for a lot of recruiters, they want to just go click, they want to see your LinkedIn, they want to see your portfolio, they want to click and access this. I always say something. I say that you have 2 different levels. You have your resume, and then you have your portfolio. Your resume is your tell, and then your portfolio is your show. Your portfolio is how you demonstrate to them that, hey, this is what I have done. And it's where you can have all of the amazing projects that you have worked on listed. This is part of what sets you apart in the market, because I can guarantee you that a lot of people are seriously out there searching for serious jobs, and they don't have a portfolio. So if you really want to stand out in the market, you apply these 3 rules across the board. There's no way that you're not going to be getting results. Now, I want you to look at this next slide very, very carefully, because this is not a prediction. This is data from one of the most respected global sources in the world, which is the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs Report 2025. And it maps out the exact battlefield for your career from now until 2030. It shows you in black and white who is going to be left behind. Now you can see that here we've got amazing roles that are standing out, roles like big data specialists, we've got fintech engineers, we've got AI and machine learning specialists, we've got data warehousing specialists, we have data analysts and scientists, and DevOps engineers. And if you look at what connects all of this together, what connects everything together, it's here: data and AI. So all of these jobs that we have put together, we have highlighted here, are connected by data and AI. And if you're in any of these career paths, you're already thinking, hey, so if you already do this, the next step would be, how can I apply data and AI to take this to the next level? But part of the most important takeaway is that these are jobs that are growing very, very fast in today's economy. We're not talking about things like customer support and things like, remember what I said at the start? I said, if your job can be easily automated away, then you need to even start thinking, maybe I'm even in the wrong place. Maybe I need to start getting ready to move. And this is going to highlight a couple of things for you. So if you look at this section here, this purple bar is showing us the jobs that are going to be automated away, that are getting, not even going to be, these jobs are already being automated away. And what that means is that before, if you needed like 100 people to do this job. Now, all you just need is like five people who know how to use AI. And these people are working with AI to just keep things running. As a business owner, put yourself in the shoes of a business owner. Which one would you rather have? Would you rather have a predictable system that automates the workflow that 100 people have to do, and then you now employ 5 people to manage this workflow? Or would you like to keep that system that forces you to spend more money? That's a question to keep in mind. Now, we have roles like survey researchers. We have roles like client information and customer service workers. You know, one really cool thing with AI is that you can train AI bots to do the job of customer service. So if you've had conversations with AI before, and I'm sure that many of us here have done that, where you have a conversation, then you come back and then AI remembers and you say, hey, do you remember that stuff we talked about? And AI is like, yeah, sure, I remember, especially if it is in the same chat. And it's like, yeah, sure, I remember that stuff we spoke about. So this is how it works for a lot of companies. They would take AI models and then they would train these AI models, feed them a bunch of data about the company. They would feed them their FAQs, they would feed them their about us. They would say, okay, so this is how you debug certain things. If there's a problem, this is how to solve the problem. This is how you yada, 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 yada. And then what's happening is that the AI is learning about the company. So when someone wants to, maybe you're having a problem, for example, with like Amazon, and you want to chat with support, you first have a conversation with an AI bot that would first say, okay, so what category of problem is this based off all the data that I have in my database? There's so many cool tools in the market now that would allow you have phone conversations with AI bots that have been trained and who have access. They understand the company because they've been fed a bunch of resources and data on the company's workflow, so they can even answer questions on the company's behalf. We're seeing lots and lots of AI bots doing that. If you remember, 3 years ago, this was something that they were paying people to do. They will pay people in Bangladesh, people in India, people in different parts of the world, and that's for companies in the West, in the UK, in Canada, in the US, and they will just like employ them, and these guys will be answering questions. But now you don't even have to do that. You can literally use AI to automate that workflow, and guess what? AI is faster. AI works 24/7. AI does not have to sleep. So if you are on any of this list, shop salesperson, now we have automated checkouts. All you have to do is just, you go in, you pick what you want, and then you just scan, and then it debits it from your credit card. It's insane the way the world is changing, how fast it is changing. If you do not position yourself to take advantage of these opportunities, then you're going to be sitting where you are one day, and then all of these automations will just be at your doorstep, and before you know it, you're out there in the cold. So if we're also looking at, we've already highlighted many of this, but again, data and AI skills is what connects all of these career opportunities. Here is what connects the career opportunities here. Roles in big data, roles in data engineering, database and network professionals, data, and then AI. The fantastic thing I would say about data and AI is that it doesn't just lock you into one specific path. I would say that AI and data are like life skills. They are important skills for you to have if you are very serious in whatever industry it is that you work in. So take, for example, we have someone on the call here who is a teacher. If you understand how to use AI skills, you could maybe say, okay, so we always have teachers that we have students who are constantly complaining that they just got too much homework, that the home economics teacher comes in and gives them homework, and then the CRS teacher comes and gives them homework, the science teacher, it's too much. And then they also have a very short timeline to submit it. And you could say, okay, so how can I solve this problem? And then say you're an AI automation engineer, you could build a bot. You could build something that could help the kids with their homework. You could build something that could help your teachers mark their homeworks faster or whatever. This is just coming from a very general perspective. But again, it's problem solving. Or you could build an automation tool that helps your school manage its data on the children, their next of kin, their parents' data, their payments data. You could build something that could help them automate this, and you could maybe sell it to your company, to the school that you work in, or you could just take it global or take it as far as you want to, or maybe make it an agency or something. But the point that I'm driving at is that once you understand how to use AI, once you understand data, it doesn't lock you into a specific path. It opens a world of opportunities for you that you can take advantage of. So think about that as we go along. Data and AI, that is your lifeline for you to get into the revolution that is happening now. So this is the most single and most important takeaway that you will get today. Your job title might be safe, but the way you do your job is not. You either wrap data and AI skills around your expertise and become irreplaceable, or you watch your role slowly and quickly erode. And right now, you're like standing in the middle of this chart. You're standing in the middle. I don't know if there's anyone here who has already been impacted by AI, but I would not be surprised if there are lots of people here whose jobs have already been impacted by AI. So the next question is, where do you want to be in 2026? You can see the cliff, you can see the gold mine, and the job, the choice is yours on what side you want to be on by the time 2026 rolls around. Okay, now everything I've been saying, if I were to summarize it, and say, what is the one thing that matters more than anything else in this new era when you're looking at it from the perspective of businesses? What is a company willing to open its wallet to pay for? It's not your time. It's not for your attendance. It's not for you simply completing tasks in your job description. Companies pay for impact, not activity. But let me make this very clear for you. You can be the most active person in your office. You are constantly in meetings, you're sending emails, you're ticking off to-do lists, But if that activity doesn't translate into a clear and tangible business outcome, then you become a cost. You are an overhead. And in 2026, overhead is the first thing that's going to go out the window. Overheads are going to be up for a cut. I'm going to take it a step further and say that you want to be visible. And you see, one thing about impact is that impact is never quiet. There are some people who are really amazing at their jobs. They're very amazing at what they do, but they are not visible. They are hidden. And because nobody sees you in rooms where your impact is supposed to be speaking for you, it's very silent because nobody can actually say, this is what Ngozi does, this is what James does, and this is James' impact on the business. And that is why it's so critical for you to understand how to apply AI and data to the things that you do every day, because I would say impact is rarely, you can rarely keep impact low. Impact is very loud. So if you're a problem solver and you're approaching this from, okay, so these are the problems and this is exactly how I'm going to solve these problems, it's impossible for your impacts to go unseen. So one important question that you need to be able to answer in any interview, in any performance review, is what you see here on the screen. Can you drive business outcomes? This is a very important question. Did you increase revenue? Did you reduce costs? Did you improve efficiency by 50%? Did you solve a critical customer problem? And this is regardless of whatever it is that you're doing. Whatever, even though you're not an accountant, even though you are not a business manager, like I said, everything adds up. And so long as you're a problem solver, you will always identify areas where you can solve problems. Did you launch a product that captured a new market? This is the language of value. This is the language of the hybrid value creator. Now, the traditional employee is going to talk about the reports they generated. You know, they're going to talk about, hey, so I when I was at the company, they part of my responsibilities was to blah blah. Sometimes I think I tune out when someone says part of my responsibilities was, or my responsibilities in the job role in an interview. You're not speaking business outcomes. The hybrid value creator talks about how their campaign, maybe their AI powered campaign, for example, generated $200,000 in new leads. That is impact. That is also a metric. So this is the shift. Your job description is your starting point, and your impact is your finish line. And if you are not being measured on impact, you are already falling behind. So I will ask you, when you look at your work, when you look at what you have done or what you're currently doing, are you just busy, or are you truly valuable? Are you solving business problems? Is there anywhere that you think, hey, I could be better at this? Because this is the time when you have to start being very, very honest with yourself. And the fact that you are here on this call means that you are ready to take it to the next level. Maybe you've identified an opportunity and you're saying, how exactly can I seize it? How can I become a truly valuable asset in my company? So the question is no longer if you need to change. It's now about how you change. It's about how fast you do it. And the answer is right here. You must focus with laser precision on what your goal is, on what you are trying to accomplish by the time 2026. Sorry about that, guys, but I am back now. I'm just going to share my screen and continue. Thank you so much for waiting. We just had a technical glitch there. Okay, so like I was saying before I dropped off, we're in November 2025. And now the question you need to be asking yourself is, how exactly do you position yourself for the opportunities in 2026? What is happening now is that companies are closing their books for the year, but already they've identified what roles they want to hire for in 2026. They already know. Trust me. So now they're saying, okay, so in 2026, we need to get an AI, we need to get an AI HR analyst, or we need to get a data analyst, and we need that data analyst to have AI skills. And we're going to start recruiting in Q1 2026. So they have already identified what roles they are going to be recruiting for. And now the next thing is, how do you position yourself to be one of those people who are going to be recruited? One of the best times for you to find a job in the job market is Q1 in Q2. Q3 is also pretty good as well, because this is where recruiters and hiring managers and companies are saying, okay, these roles that we couldn't hire for in Q1 and in Q2, okay, how do we quickly close out on these roles in before we get to Q4? But the best times for you to find a job is Q1 Q2, and you want to be positioned for this. Right now, as we are speaking, in boardrooms from London and Lagos and Toronto, companies are closing their books for the year. They are finalizing budgets, they are planning headcounts for Q1 2026. And now the question is, how do you take advantage of this? Because like I said, once these roles begin recruiting in January, you don't want to have to be in a position where you're saying, hey, I'm learning skills, I don't have the time yet. You are not yet in that position where you can now start looking for these jobs, or where you can start applying to these jobs. You are in that place where you're still learning how to take advantage of the opportunities in the market. You see how that puts you at a disadvantage, because you're not ready to take advantage of the opportunities. Now, if you focus on acquiring skills and experience in careers that guarantee you a job, you want to focus on the jobs that are guaranteed to make you stand out, the kind of roles that companies are recruiting for, the kind of roles that companies are hiring for. And remember what I said, everything boils down to data and AI. So whatever it is that you're doing, whatever function you're in, if you know how to use AI, if you know how to use data, you become an indispensable asset. And that's exactly why we are having this conversation today. How do you become an indispensable asset? You saw the charts that I presented before and the opportunities that I have identified in the market, or that we have identified in the market. And now the question is, how do you position yourself for these unique opportunities? Now, let me make something very, very clear. Companies, when they are looking for who they are going to hire, or when they are hiring, they are focusing on two things. They are focusing on either skills rather, and experience. Now, the difference is that your skills means that you actually have what it takes for you to get this job done. You have maybe AI automation skills, so you know how to use AI. There are a bunch of AI tools in the market, and you know which AI tool to use for what level of automation. So you're very good at it. Your experience says that I have done this before. Your experience is your portfolio. So unless they are specifically looking for an intern, unless they are looking for someone who is maybe coming in to learn, and they state that, hey, we are looking for someone who is coming in to learn. Companies are aggressively focused on people who have skills and experience, and that is exactly where you want to be at. And then having the experience is not enough, but being able to show them that you actually have this experience is what really sets you apart in the market. Now, you're probably wondering, skills and experience, I don't have anyone. So maybe we've been talking about AI, we've been talking about data, and you're thinking, yeah, I think I'm really good at my job, but AI and data is something this is new terrain for me. So I'm not sure how exactly I fit into this. So I need help. That's exactly why we are having this conversation. So before we step in, I want to show you something real quick. This is the story of Christian. And I've always liked to talk about Christian's story because he's living, breathing proof of everything that we've been talking about. Christian was 18 years old. 18. He had no decade of experience. He did not have any fancy connections. He was just a young man with the right system. However, what Christian did that completely changed the game for him and took him from passion to actually getting the job that he wanted was he applied a LPA framework, the learn, package, and apply. Now, the first thing that Christian did was that he joined our data analytics program. Actually, it was his elder brother who registered him for it. And then he took it to the next level. He also packaged himself. Now, remember when we're talking about it, where we mentioned the data and AI skills in the previous slide, and I said you also have to identify high demand skills as well, and then learn those high demand skills. So we're taking it from one step to the next. On the first level, Christian learned a high demand skill. He learned a high demand skill. And then on the second level, he packaged his high demand skill. If you get it wrong at the first level, which is learn, and you go and learn a skill that's not amazing in the market, you go and learn a skill that nobody wants, and now you're searching for jobs, you're not getting any response, that's most likely your problem, because you always have to tie it back. I've always said, apply empathy to your job search. Apply design thinking to your job search. That is what really opens doors for you. So Christian learns the skills, and then Christian packaged the skills. Now, he didn't just go and get a certificate from 10 Analytics. He tailored his resume. He built a portfolio. He got prepped for interviews. He showed up not as a student, but as a professional who was ready to work. And he transformed his knowledge into a compelling offer. And then finally, he applied with strategy. He knew where to look. He knew how to apply. Christian was consistent. He was focused. And in July 2025, just 4 months after finishing the program, he landed his job as a data processor and analyst. I want you to think about that. Just take a minute and let that sink in. An 18-year-old in today's economy. He was competing with people who had decades of experience, who had years of experience, people who used, people who had way more leverage over him. But somehow, Christian was able to stand out in the market. And then he was also able to overcome that bias. Why would you employ an 18-year-old for a job that a 28-year-old can do? He must have gone through a lot of bias, but he remained consistent. So this is not magic. This is a machine. The LPA system actually leads to jobs. It is your direct pipeline from where you are now to the job offer that you have been waiting for. Christian's story is the rule here. It is not the exception, and it is your turn to be. Learn, if you package, if you apply, you will definitely get a job. Now, I want us to talk about the single biggest fear that everyone has. If I learn the skills, how will I actually get the job? Now, this is where we separate ourselves from every other online course. We don't just teach you and wish you good luck. We take you by the hand and walk you directly through the hiring manager's door. This is our employability engine. This is how we ensure you don't just get skilled, you get hired. Now, I want you to look at this. 8 steps in the employability engine. Now, we start with you getting a CV review and revamp. Remember what I said about the ATS, how when you apply for jobs, before your job even gets to a human's table, there's an entire process before that happens. So how do you ensure that your resume is formatted enough for it to get through the doors? If you are applying to jobs that actually matter, the jobs that can pay you what you actually deserve, then this is a step that you cannot miss. So we tear down the old one that's filled with tasks and then build a new one that springs impact and skills. Now, the next thing we do is we optimize your LinkedIn, so that recruiters find you. We make you visible to the algorithms that decide who gets seen and who gets ignored. Now, we also teach you on this level, which is step 3, we also teach you the secret playbook for navigating the job market. This is where the hidden jobs are, how to apply, and how to stand out in a sea of 500 applicants. Then we help you get to the finish line. We put you through rigorous interview preparation until you can confidently talk about your skills and talk about your portfolios. And then we also back it up with a job reference letter. So just going back here for a minute, for a lot of people, it's one thing to have the skill, it's one thing to have the experience, but then being able to talk in an interview, if you're if you're maybe having a virtual interview, or maybe you have to, if it's an in-person interview, being able to communicate is a skill on its own. And a lot of people don't have that. Now, imagine if you have this skill. Another level is your strategy, how you actually communicate with the recruiters. It's how you lay out their problems. Remember when we identified the primary reason that companies exist, which is I want to make profit, I want to make money. So when you're coming in, you're being hired, or you're coming into an interview, do you have a strategy in place? What does that strategy look like? Some of the best candidates, one of the first things they will do is they would analyze the business model of that company, and then they would say, what are the opportunities for optimization? What are the opportunities here that I can talk about in my interview? So when you come into the interview, you're not like a lot of people who, shockingly, you would find that when some people come into interviews, they are not prepared. They are not prepared. You ask them, what do you know about the company? And they say, not much. Actually, miss, the best candidates take their time, review the company's model, and then say, how exactly can I help this company solve problems? And then they have that conversation with whoever is interviewing them. And trust me, there is nobody that you would sit in and have an interview with, and you're talking about problems in the companies that they probably know or maybe do not know, and you're already saying, this is how I'm going to solve this problem. There's no one who is not going to be impressed and move you to the next level. So you see that it's bigger than just having the skills. It's about having all these levels of employability that makes you look attractive in the market. Now, job reference letter is your first time doing what you're doing. Do you have someone who can stand in for you and say, yes, we can actually vouch for this person? That's also one thing that we do, and we've done this for thousands of students. On the job support, we have some students who reach out and say, hey, I got a job here, and I need help with this tool, or I don't know how to work this, deal this automation. Could you help me out? And then we get our consultants on the call for these people to help them out with whatever problem it is that they're experiencing. But the main thing here is you did not just pass through a door and that was pretty much it. You're also getting support at any time when you need it. So you always have that to rely on. Then there's also weekly mentorship sessions and Upwork and Fiverr optimization. So this is for the people who are thinking, hey, before I even get to that point where I'm already set, maybe I find a job, or maybe you're not even interested in a job at all, and what you're looking for is to set up your own AI automation agency. Fantastic for you. You're going to need places where you can be seen. You're going to need places where you can get freelance gigs. And then if you're also looking for a job, you can also, like, once we work on your optimization for you, you can be getting freelance gigs while you're searching for a full-time role. So the entire package, from our LPA framework to the employability. So we don't just educate you, we make you employable. We remove every single barrier that is standing between you and your offer letter. Now, this is the support system that turns a care worker into a business analyst and an 18-year-old into a data analyst. This is how we guarantee your result. Now, we've spoken about all of these amazing opportunities in the market. We've highlighted that, hey, if you want to be fantastic in the market, if you want to stand out, there are two skills rather that you need to have. You need to have data skills, you need to have AI skills. But then, where do you even find these jobs? By the time you get the skill, by the time you package yourself on the employability level, and now you look very good in the market, where exactly do you find these jobs? Now, there are different places where you can get these jobs. The first is recruiting agencies. These are recruiting agencies that specialize in tech. You can find jobs on Turing, on Top Total, on Hired. You can find jobs on LinkedIn. But I've always said, LinkedIn can be a hit or miss. Some people get jobs on LinkedIn, some people do not. And that is because it's sometimes you would see some jobs on LinkedIn and they already have over 100 people have applied. And you're already thinking, how in the world am I even going to stand out here? One of the best ways for you to stand out on LinkedIn is for you to optimize your profile for recruiter algorithms. So this means that when people, and some of you on this call might probably have already heard that before, but when you think about it, have you ever received a message from a recruiter saying, hey, your profile seems like it would be a good fit for this job. Would you like to apply? So if you have received a message like that from a recruiter, then you know that you're doing something well. However, if you have not, then there's a lot of improvement that you still can make in your profile. So think about that. And that is also part of what we help you do. Now, remote job boards. We work remotely, remote.co, flex jobs. You can filter this for AI or data roles and find jobs in these aspects. So when it comes to all of these amazing opportunities, there are lots of places where you can find jobs. So you don't have to think for a minute, hey, once I'm done with all of this, where are these jobs going to come from? As a matter of fact, I'm just going to quickly show you some of the opportunities in the market, just real quickly. So this is working startups. And if you go on working startups, for those of you who know working startups, it's actually workingstartups.com. And you can come here and search for jobs. So I just quickly, so I don't waste our time, but I just quickly highlighted some interesting jobs here. So one of them is senior data analyst. And this is a remote job. So it means that you can do this job from anywhere. Now, if you come here and you look at the job description, when you're looking for jobs, by the way, it is very important that you actually read the job description. I cannot emphasize this enough. Read the job description. Some people would apply for jobs and they don't read the job description, which is why your applications do not work. Because out of 10 jobs that you apply to, 9 of these jobs are just useless to you. To put things into perspective, when NASA and Amazon are looking for a data analyst, their requirements are completely different. What NASA is looking for is maybe someone who already has experience with error engineering, maybe someone who has experience working in companies like that. And then what Amazon is looking for would be someone who already has experience in e-commerce, because you can understand the business context of what they do. And it means that you've done it before and you can hit the ground running. So this is why it's very important that you are reading job descriptions, because when a recruiter from Amazon is recruiting for a data analyst role, they would not just say, I'm recruiting for a data analyst role. They would put in keywords in the job description. For example, you can say retention is a keyword. And this is where you would now ask yourself, what does a senior data analyst have to do with retention? Because this is not even a marketing role. This is data analyzing. So how exactly does retention come in? So to them, and when the AI identifies these as keywords, it would be looking out for, does this come up in your resume? Does the word retention come up in your resume? That is why it is so important. And people will say things like, I don't know, how can I change my resume for every single job that I apply to? I don't want to do that. But if you don't do that, it's a serious disservice to yourself, because for many of these roles or jobs that you apply to, it is a complete hit and miss. So you want to read this so that you have a good understanding of how exactly what tools, what keywords I want to include in my resume that would give me the best chance of standing out when I apply for this job. Now, this is another data analyst role, but this is under growth hacking. This is in an AI company. And you can see here that for a company that is AI driven, you can see, for example, this is a nice to have. If you have experience with Amazon QuickSight, if you have experience with Amplitude. And so these are things, this, for example, would be a keyword in their ATS. This would be a keyword. in their ATS. And this is why you want to ensure that you add these keywords to your resume. So whatever part of the world you're in, if you're in Nigeria, if you're in Ghana, if you're in Kenya, if you're in New York, Germany, Toronto, wherever it is that you're in, you are not limited to one location. You can get a job anywhere in the world. You can have access to all of these amazing opportunities so long as you apply religiously the LPA system that we have identified. So lots of places for you to get jobs. And again, fill out the attendance form that my colleagues are dropping in the chat section so that you have access to the slides anytime, and you can always check out all of these jobs and see them for yourself. So moving on, like we've already identified, if you want to get a job, if you want to own your own AI agency, whatever it is that that looks like for you, you still have to be able to show employers, to show recruiters, to show clients that you are the perfect person for that job. And that involves your portfolio. So wherever it is that you are hosting, so this is where I'm going to be advertising my skills. I'm going to be doing it on Fiverr, on Upwork. I'm going to be applying on LinkedIn. I'm going to be applying on Wellfound, on Buting. I'm going to be using FlexJobs. Whatever that looks like for you, you have to be able to show employers, to show your clients that this is what I have done before and this is how I stand out in the market. Otherwise, you can be really amazing. But because you are seriously underselling yourself, nobody sees just how amazing you are. Now, this is it. This is what I would call our moment of truth. I've shown you the problem. I've shown you the proof. And now I'm going to show you tracks that you can take to prepare yourself for the job market in 2026. And these are not just courses, they are golden tickets. This is how you become a beast in the job market. Now, the first thing is the AI automation engineer. This is for the future millionaires in the room. This is like a founder's blueprint. So while everyone else is learning to use AI, you're going to be learning to build and sell with AI. You will build voice agents that companies will pay thousands of dollars for. You will create custom AI apps that can solve million-dollar problems. When it comes to AI automation, the way I look at it is there are no limitations under this path or under this track. You can solve problems at any industry on any level. You have to be a problem solver because you would maybe maybe you're a consultant and you're working it's a HR company, and they're saying that, hey, even though we use ATS, things just aren't working out for us. For some reason, we're still not able to find the right clients. The ones that are filtered to us at the end of the day are it's just not what we're looking for. Or maybe a company says that, hey, we've got 50 customer support agents, and we just think that this is the time for us to cut down on our costs because we're spending a lot of money. Annually, we're spending about 120 million on sustaining this. So how can we solve this? And then you come in and you say, hey, I'm going to build a tool, an AI tool that can automate this. And that's why I said it's for future engineers, because it doesn't limit you to any system. It doesn't limit you to any niche. So if you have even a flicker of ambition to build something that is different, something that is not tied down to any industry, this is your path. Yeah, you're not just getting a job here, you are creating an empire. You're going to be learning tools like N8N. You're going to be learning tools like Zapier, Gemini, Claude, 11 Labs, Twilio. You're going to be learning how to connect all of these tools together and build AI agents that can automate workflows, that can say, it used to take 1 week to do this, and now it takes 1 minute. That's exactly what you're going to be learning with the AI automation track. Now, we've also got data analysts and HR analysts, and this is how you go to being a superhero overnight. Yeah, we're going to, under the analyst or generative AI for data analysts, we are going to transform you into an analyst that can do in 1 hour what used to take a week. You're going to automate reports. You're going to build AI data assistants. You're going to provide insights so fast that it will make your boss's head spin. Your boss is going to be saying, hey, did you even, are you sure this data is correct? How long did it take you to get this data out? And then you just smile because you know that you've got multiple dashboards and multiple systems that you have automated to get you this data in seconds. You will become the most valuable person on your team. Now, for the HR analyst, which is a generative AI for data for HR analysts, you're going to go from pushing paperwork to driving people's strategy. You're going to be using AI to find top talent in half the time. You're going to be predicting which employees might leave. You're going to be automating every single boring administrative task. I think that the HR role is actually very interesting, but part of what makes it seem like, oh, I'm not really sure is, when you're recruiting for roles and you have to review 200 resumes, you have to review 500 resumes. Sometimes you post a job and then you get like 1,000 applications, and then you have to somehow bring everything down into like 100, and then you streamline it again into like 50, then you get your top 10, and then you have to set up interviews with everyone. When you interview them, you have to rank them. How good was this candidate? How bad was this candidate? You have to bring in the stakeholders to have conversations with them. You have to also send rejection emails to people. You have to send these candidate assessments. This is a lot. When you are empowered with AI, with data, you become a beast. You become a strategic partner, and your salary is going to reflect that, because all of these things I just mentioned that sound like such a drag, you're going to be doing this so much faster than your colleagues. And this is how you go from being a cost center to being the company's secret weapon. Now you can see that some of these tools are similar. However, there are nuances, there are differences here in how you apply them in the context that you are using these tools in. So if you're someone who is a data analyst, or if you're someone who already has experience in the HR industry, you want to choose one of these and then focus on your niche, because even though these tools are the same, because your niche is different, the way you are applying it is very, very different. You're going to be using tools like Gemini, like Copilot, like Zebra AI, like Bricks, like Julius, S2SQL, and others to learn all of this. Now, the next is generative AI for business analysts and AI for project managers. Now, this is for natural leaders who are tired of being bogged down by chaos, and we're going to weaponize your strategic mind. Now, as a business analyst, you're going to be using AI to map out complex processes in minutes, not days. You're going to uncover gaps and opportunities that are invisible to everyone else. You're going to be the one who sees the entire chessboard. I've always said, when you look at how much the industry is changing and how many things are being automated, the people that you want to blame for this, aside from those who are actually building these tools, are business analysts. Because business analysts are like the process automation specialists. They're the ones who are coming in and saying, okay, how can we make this process faster? Okay, so it takes what, 3 minutes for you to take a customer's order, and then it takes 5 minutes for that order to be packaged, and then it takes another 10 minutes again for the delivery guy to get here. And when the delivery guy gets here, it takes him 5 minutes to pick up the package because he has to walk through a queue. And then when he picks up the package, it takes him another 30 minutes to 1 hour because he has to go through traffic. And then the person who ordered cancels because it has taken over 30 minutes, which is our SLA, which is when we have promised to deliver this order to this person. So you see what I just did here? I just highlighted the problem that a food company might be going, food delivery service might be passing through. And a business analyst would come in and say, how can we automate this. So being equipped with AI means that you can not only identify these areas for automation, but you can also build tools to automate most of this. Or you can even have conversations with the people who are building these tools, and you're speaking from a place of knowledge, because you know that if you get angry, it's what you can even do yourself. Now, as a project manager, you will be untouchable. You will use AI to predict risks before they even happen. You're going to be automating status reports. You're going to be managing stakeholders with precision. You're going to learn how to deliver projects under budget every single time, because you understand how to use tools, to AI tools, data tools, to make your work flow faster. This is how you become the undisputed GOAT in your company. So if you're already fantastic, amazing at your job, and then you partner with AI, it has the ability to take you to the next level, to make your colleagues say, what exactly did you do and how are you doing this, that now you're completely different. The way you used to work now is so much faster. And the best part of this is that it opens so many opportunities for you. You can outgrow where you are and then even look for better opportunities for yourself. And if that is not even the case, you can start an AI agency. Now, with under the business analyst track, you're going to be learning tools like Gemini, like Jira, like Notion, like ClickUp AI, like Lucidchart, like Breaks. And then under the AI for project managers, you're going to be learning tools like Asana, like Copilot, like Claude, like Gamma, Perplexity, and others. Now, for all of these tracks I've just mentioned, they all come with 8 weeks with capstone project and live project showcase. Now, the capstone project, that is your killer app. That is a project that you're going to walk into an interview with and say, let me show you what I can do for you. It's the proof that you are not just a student, or you did not just go learn a fancy new skill, but that you are a solution. Now, you see all of these tracks I've just listed, the demand for these skills is insane. The salaries are insane. The opportunities that it opens you up to are also insane. So what is the timeline for each of these tracks, and how long is it going to take for you to learn this? Like I mentioned before, 8 weeks with a capstone project and a live project showcase. When do you have your classes? You have your classes on Saturday, your live classes, and this happens in the morning from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. West African time. And then on Sundays, you also have your live class as well. So if you miss the Saturday class, you can take the Sunday class. And then that happens in the afternoon, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. West African time. Now, this is for every single track we have here for AI automation engineer. It also happens as well for data analysts, business analysts, for projects managers, and others. So it's the same across the board. The only thing here now is which of these is right for you. Now, for everything, you get about 6 hours per week of live learning for 8 weeks. And that's it. That is what it takes to become a better version of yourself by 2026. Now, the rest of the week, you're going to be working on projects. You're going to be practicing with the tools. You're going to be building your own portfolio at your own pace. And one of the best parts is that every single session is recorded. So if you can't make a live class, you can catch the replay. If you need to review something, you can catch the replay. So that is 8 weeks of live training. And then you also get your capstone project and a real world AI automation solution that you present and add to your portfolio. So the main question here is, which path will you take to secure your future? Now the door is wide open for you. I can't help you. I can't push you through it. I can only show you the way and say, hey, this is the best. If you're ready to take advantage of the opportunities that are waiting for you in 2026, it's the best time for you to do so. I want to share some success stories with you, because if you're thinking you're alone, remember Christian's story that I shared. Christian was just 18 years old. And Kristen answers the question of, is it too early for me to start? Is it too late for me to start? Because it's never late. It's always, well, except it's only late if you're here, you hear this conversation, then you decide that, oh, I want to postpone this for another 1 year, for another 2 years. You see, the disadvantage of that is that if you wait, the people who get started now already get into these opportunities. They're already earning a lot of money in the industry. And do you know what happens when supply exceeds demand? So right now, where companies are urgently saying, we need to recruit for this role, and you seem like someone who is out of this world when you come in with your super amazing portfolio and you say, hey, this is what I did. And they're like, wow, this is amazing. You're going to be one out of hundreds and thousands of people the longer you wait. Now, I want to share Judith's story with you. And Judith is an example of, it doesn't matter what your background is. So if you're not in tech and you're thinking this is overwhelming, Judith came in as a carer. She was a carer, and she was also studying in the UK at the time. She already had a background. In Nigeria, she was a HR, so it wasn't like she didn't have backgrounds in the corporate world. But then when she moved to the UK, she had to change her career path, and then she started working in care. But Judith wanted more. She wanted more for herself. So one time she was in a child's school, and then she came across someone who was taking one of our programs, and that was how Judith got introduced to Analytics. She joined us, and then she completed the business analysis program in March 2024. Now, the amazing thing for Judith is that 3 months after, in July 2024, Judith got a job as a business analyst in the US, and she works remotely. For a lot of people, for some people, it takes them maybe after your program is done, 3 months after your program. For some people, while the program is still going on, because they have applies the LPA system, the Learn, Package, and Apply system consistently. Really, they have done it end to end. They have mastered it so well. These people are getting results within weeks. And you can be one of those people. Like I said, I believe I've mentioned this before. There are lots of opportunities in the market, especially if you start now. And so long as you are positioned for it, so long as you are willing to learn, so long as you are willing to execute, and not just die on the heel of, I have an idea, I think it would be really nice for me to get into AI, but you're not really doing anything to take advantage of that. If you move now, by this time, 2026, I'm very sure you will be thanking yourself. Now, I also want to share another story with you real quick. This is the story of Hope. And Hope's story is why I put a lot of emphasis on you getting your portfolio. It's why I said employers hire for 2 reasons. One of them is your skill, and the other is your experience. You see, for someone like Hope, she already had the skill. She had project management and Scrum Master certification, but she could not find the job in Canada. So even though she had the skill, somehow on the employability level, she was failing because nobody could see her value. And the question was, why exactly should we hire you? Which is why you don't stop at the skill level. You have to ensure you go all the way to being able to demonstrate your experience. Now, Hope joined our Agile Projects Management Program in September 2024, and by December 2024, she got a job. Hope joined the program in September, and by December, she had a job. Am I the only one seeing just how amazing this is? Am I the only one? So it showed that she already had the skills. The only reason why she was able to get a job so quickly is because the skills were there. It's just she wasn't presenting herself properly in the market. And that is something that we are positioned to help you do. Beyond helping you gain the skills, it's now about how you market those skills. Now, we could stay here all day and talk about success stories from Abigail, who used to work as a care worker in Canada, and then we helped her transition into business analysis. And now she works as a business analyst in Edmonton, Canada. Then we could move to Tony, who was a pharmacist who transitioned into a benefits analyst. And today she works with the NHS Or we could talk about Benga, who got a job in Poland and now he's a business data analyst. Or we could talk about Nathaniel Abdul Rashid, who got a job as a data analyst with Chow 420 in the US. All of these amazing, amazing people who have walked past through the doors of 10 analytics and then been better for it. And you could be one of these people. Like I said at the beginning, over 3,000 success stories. We have done this over and over again. We have seen what works, and we're here to say, how can we take you from where you are now to where you need to be? So beyond getting a skill, how can you become employable? Now, our next cohort is starting December 2025, on the 6th of December 2025. Now, remember what I said about staying on the sidelines. This is where you actually decide if you are ready to get in. Now, all of these amazing courses I have listed out for you, AI automation engineer, generative AI for data analysts, generative AI for HR analysts, generative AI for business analysts, generative AI for projects managers, 1 to 5. The full amount for everything is 200,000 naira. That is the full amount. However, you also get a discount for the first 20 people who register. You get a discount. So for the AI automation engineer, you get it at a discounted amount of 150,000. For the data analyst all the way to the projects managers, you get that for 100,000 each. Now, the best part of this is that you don't even have to pay the full amount today. That is the best part. You can actually pay it in 3 installments. So you can pay 70,000 today for the AI automation engineer, and then you complete the payment subsequently. You can also pay for the generative AI for data analysts, to business analysts, to HR, to product managers, and you lock down the spot for 40,000 naira. And then you pay your balance in 2 tranches. But the best part of this is that you actually get into the program and you get to see whether or not the program works for you. Let me put this into perspective. What is the price of staying where you are for another year? What is the cost of missing out on a $5,000 a month remote job? That's $60,000 a year. We're talking about an investment that you can use to earn back, everything that you have spent within what? A week on the job? Within a week on the job, you can earn back whatever it is that you spend at this moment. So this is not an expense. This is the most important investment that you will ever make in yourself. These are the tools, these are the tracks that makes you employable in New York, in Toronto, in Berlin, whatever part of the world you're in. This is what the only thing employers care about, the only language, the one consistent language they speak, regardless of what industry they are in, is how can we make money? And this is what positions you to be the best candidate to answer that question for them. Now, remember what I said. This discount is only available for the first 20 people. So if you want to take advantage of this for the AI automation engineer, you make your first installment today, which is 70,000, and then you make your second installment, and then you make your third installment. So remember what I said. If you want to pay in full, by the way, you can also pay in full. That's also available. But if you say, I'm not really sure about this, I want to see whether or not this works for me, you can decide to make installment payments. Like I said, 20 people. Once 20 people have made their payment, this closes. You can secure your future today for just 70 or 40,000 with 5 programs in total. So whichever one is a fit for your personality, whichever one you think is best for you to go for, you need to start thinking, okay, let me lock down that spot. And this is one of the things I really love about about this, about all of this. You don't have to be a software engineer to use these tools, to learn these tracks. They are designed for business professionals, for analysts, for people in operations. You know, anyone who is interested in how can I solve a problem with AI, or how can I make myself an indispensable asset in my company. So the question is, which of these tracks is right for you? What I would advise is, if you're a data analyst and you want to supercharge what you do, take it to the next level, just go for generative AI for data analysts. And then you can now become a beast who is equipped with the next generation skills. You will blow your next interview, or you will complete, and when I say blow, I mean in a good way, not blow your next interview in a bad way. Or you will go to the next level in your current company, because they have seen that you have taken your skill set, your skill set from where it is now to a place where they're actually saying that this is the value this person is bringing to the company. So I just want to quickly show you what it looks like when you're registering. By the way, this is the account number. This is the account name, 10 Analytics Data and Strategy Limited. We've got the account number here. It's CUDA. And if you have any issues, feel free to contact either treasure@10analytics.org, or you can contact business@10analytics.org. So I'm going to quickly show you this form. My colleagues are dropping this form in the chat section as we speak right now. I'm wrapping up, so if you have any questions, you can either start dropping it in the chat section, or feel free to raise your hands now and I'm going to come to you. Okay, so when my colleagues are dropping this in the chat section, this is the form. So you make your payments. This is the account number that you make your payments to. You want to put in your email address here. Please put in an email address that you can be contacted on. We've seen some cases of people making payments and then they put an email address we cannot reach them on. Then we have to go and do some investigative analysis to find their data. So put in your email address here, and then you upload proof of payment. Then you put in your full name, your email address. Again, please not use a Yahoo email. It has to be a Gmail. And then your phone number. Please, again, this is a phone number that can be accessed, that anyone can call you on. And then your job title. We're interested, want to know what you currently do, which is why I asked for those of us who were here at the start to share what it is that we currently do. Then the name of your organization where you currently work. And then here you select what your preferred training is. Is it AI automation engineering, or is it business analysis, AI in PM, AI in HR? Whatever that is, you make your selection here. And then you can also select what your skill set is. What level are you at? Are you a beginner? Are you intermediate? Are you an expert? And you also select your payment plan as well. Do you want to make full payments? You want to pay in installments? Whatever that looks like, you can select it here. Then you also select the cohorts that you're registering for December or for January. And that's pretty much it. You know, if you're registering for multiple people, and for those of us who have friends and families that we would like to register for, you know, maybe we're ready for them to, you want them to move to the next stage of their career. They're very ambitious. You know that to the people that you're going to pay for, you make an investment in them, and that investment will actually yield results. You want to pay for them here, put the number here, or maybe you own a company, you've got staff, and you would like to pay for them so that they can upskill. You can also put that number here as well, and then you also input why you're registering for the program, and finally how you heard about us. And that's it. Very simple step, very simple process, and you are in. Very simple. Like I said before, this is available only for 20 people. So you want to take advantage of this discount right now. Lock in your spot, make your payment, and take advantage today. We're rounding up now, so if you've got questions, I can see that some hands are already up, but you can start raising your hands now. By the way, we also got into Alberta's Catalyzer Velocity program in October 2024. So if you want to read more about this, you can also fill the attendance form that my colleagues have been sharing in the chat section, and you get to read all about this. So One more thing before we wrap up, we are also accredited by the American Council of Training and Development, which is the ACTD, as well. So to wrap it all up, this is not just for you to learn a new skill. This is not just for you to get a new, to learn a new skill in AI and data, but this is about problem solving. This is about going to the next stage in your career, and we will hold your hand and walk with you through that process. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly move so I can see any questions that we have and take those. Okay, so if you have any questions for me, feel free to raise your hands now. Okay. Nonso, I see that you're the first person. Do you want to unmute your mic and speak? Nonso, do you want to unmute your mic and speak? Treasure, can you give Nonso access to unmute his mic and speak? Thank you.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hi, Nonso.
Hi. A quick one. Firstly, how long is this program going to take?
8 weeks.
8 weeks. So for someone who has zero or no knowledge about this thing, AI automation, and has interest, do you think 8 weeks will be enough for the person to catch up and do well with it?
Absolutely. And I'm saying this also based on data. We have some really amazing reviews. I'm just going to drop a link of one. I'm not sure if I play it here. I'm not sure if you'd be able to hear it, but I'm just going to drop a link in the chat section. This is one of our students, and we have so many reviews just like this. This is the link. It's a minute, please. I've dropped a link here. So you can always go and listen to someone who was in our program, and then what he did after a few weeks. He built an AI, he built an automation tool, and it's really interesting when you watch this video. So there's this misconception that it takes you months for you to transition into a new, for you to learn something new. It's not true. Have the wrong person teaching you, or maybe you are not committed to learning. But when we are committed to learning, and then you have people who have done this with thousands of people over and over again, and have seen what curriculum works best, and have seen what kind of system works best to support learning at this level, then you're in very safe hands. So yes, 8 weeks is more than enough for you to learn how to build super amazing AI tools. Also check out this video that I've shared as well. It's amazing insights for you to see what someone developed within a few weeks in the program. Nonso, are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, fantastic. Do you have any other questions?
No, that's all.
Thank you so much, Nonso. Okay. Okay, I see we've got Felix as well. Do you want to unmute your mic and speak?
Yes, thank you. Lola, it's good to hear from you. Please, on this list of your courses, I hardly see product management on the list. Does it mean that the project management captures the product management also?
So I would say that if you're in product management, you should totally just go for the project management, because in as much as they are different, there are similarities between both of them. The tools that I use is similar in product and then in project. In both cases, you're managing products, or maybe you're managing projects. You're managing a team to get a specific outcome. So when you learn how to apply automation on that level, it can apply to products and then it can also apply to projects as well. So that's why we made it a project thing, because for product managers, you are building or working with a group of people or a team to achieve a result. And that is what project managers do as well. So the tools that you use, the automation that you design, applies across the board for projects and for product. So if you're thinking about which one to go for the project manager. The generative AI for project manager track would be the right fit for you. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so if I've answered your question, please, if you could just drop your hands so that the other people could, rise to the top. Okay, thank you so much, Felix. Nonso, if you could drop your hand as well. Thank you. Okay, Dwa Priye. I hope I did not butcher your name, but you're up next.
Okay, hello, good evening. Can you hear me? Huh?
I can hear you. Yes.
All right. Thank you. For me, who is a surveyor and into real estate, what would be the best thing for me to do? Because I think I need it in terms of my data collection for land information, and I just think I need it because I was going through, and I think AI could help me make my work easy. So, what would be the best fit for me as a business person? What would be the best fit for me?
Mhm. Okay. So, what would you say is your major pain points right now? What is your biggest challenge right now, with what you do?
Well, for now, I think saving of data, like land documents and the rest of it, so I don't have to go for the ministry. Maybe I could able to save information for last maybe 5 years, 6 years, so I can just troubleshoot and get any information I want. Then, secondly, to automate my processes, mostly my marketing, my customer relations, email, and the rest of those things. I think that is my main point to make work very easy for me.
Okay. So because of your needs, I was going to suggest data analysis to you, but it would narrow your needs down too much. I think what you need is generative AI automation. Could you mute, please, if you're not speaking? Okay, thank you. I thought someone else unmuted. So what you need is generative AI. You need this track. AI automation engineer. Rather, you need to learn how to build large language models and AI agents, because you've already mentioned a lot of needs. Now, you've mentioned marketing, you've mentioned support, you've mentioned sorting your data. So if you know how to apply AI automation to solve your problems, things would be very easy for you. You would not be locked into one niche, especially since you're an entrepreneur. So you would need this skill sets for you to solve your problems and for you to automate your processes. So my suggestion for you would be go with this. With this, you can build an end-to-end system that works seamlessly. You can build a system that collects your data. You can build a system that catches your leads so that no leads are falling through the funnel. You can build an AI agent that retargets your leads, that markets to your leads, that calls your leads, even when you are sleeping. So you don't have to be at the phone 24/7. With this track, you become a one-man army, and you can do multiple things at the same time because you know how to set up the automation tools for it. So this would be my suggestion for you: AI automation engineering. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes. Thank you very much. I'll look into that. Thank you.
You're welcome, Odiru. And don't forget, and this goes out to everyone on the call, this is only available for the first 20 people. So you want to lock down your spot ASAP. Otherwise, I can't say if this is going to be available tomorrow, but I know that there are lots of people here who have identified that this is an awesome opportunity. So you're literally competing with these people right now. You want to lock down your spot as soon as possible. Okay, we've got expensive. I'm not okay. Let me check for your full. Expensive Richard. Ooh, I like your name, by the way. Richard, who is expensive. Let's hear from you.
Hi, Lola. Good evening.
Hi. Okay, I was not expecting a lady.
It's fine. I get that a lot because of the rate card. It's fine.
Okay.
I have two questions. One of which is currently, I'll personalize it so that you can help me better. I'm an ERP functional consultant, and I have a strong background in accounting and finance. So I'm looking to upscale, maybe upskill. I'm trying to find like a perfect landing
Mhm.
um, between finance and ERP. That's ERP for enterprise resource planning. So now, based off all the courses you've outlined, I'm trying to figure out which of it suits, or yeah, it might not suit 100%. Which of it aligns with my, let's say, what I use the word career growth. So I don't know if you guys do like a hand holding session whereby you guide people through the courses you're supposed to take in relation to their career prospects. So that's one of the questions I'm trying to figure out.
Mhm. Okay. So I would advise, based off what I've heard, you seem like you will do very well in data analysis. But then the question would be, in what you've done so far, how much data have you dealt with? I know that you deal with data, but it's how much do you know? Do you know enough to say you want to now take it to the next level by going for generative AI in data analysis? Or depending on what your background looks like, you might move to business analysis, but I don't have enough data. You did mention something though. We have what we call a clarity session, where you can have a conversation with a one-on-one career consultant who can help you figure out what your next move in your career should be. So in this session, you can have a sit down, you can ask any questions you have, you can talk in details about what your career looks like and what the growth path that you would like for yourself looks like, and then get a professional recommendation for that. So fill out the attendance form, and then you can sign up for the clarity session. They're also going to be dropping the clarity session links as well in the community that you joined from, so you can just book a session directly from there. What do you think about that, Expensive Richard?
Okay, thank you very much. So I think that answers about 70% of my question, which the remaining 30 can be addressed by the person that is going to take me through the clarity session. Then the next question I have is, okay, there's a very vital question or important question is, the clarity session, does it come at a cost or is it as part of the services you guys render?
No, it's free, 100% free.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So my next question is, for someone that is a medical laboratory scientist and the person is trying to move into tech, which of this would you likely recommend for the person and why? So the person can make a better informed decision with the recommendation.
Medical laboratory scientist. This person
Yes.
already had a lot of experience dealing with data. The core of what you do is data. Am I correct?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so the core of what you do is data. I would recommend data analysis because it wouldn't be a shock to your system. I mean, there are other tracks, there's project management, but then it's how well do you deal with people? Now, a lot of times I would not just base my recommendation off your background alone, but also off your personality. Because if you move into a career path that is, even though you have the background that supports it, but your personality is just not a good fit for you, you will quickly burn out. So I would say it's a combination of the background and your personality. But for this use case, without context on what the personality is, I would suggest data analysis, because you already have the background in analyzing data, in investigative analysis. For you to move or pivot to data analysis, it's not going to be a shock, it's not going to be jarring for you, and something that you can quickly take to learning because you're familiar with it, at least also on some level. So that is what I would suggest.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate the fact that you also consider personality while advising. So that makes you think like you already know what exactly you're doing. So I would commend you for that. So thank you very much for having my time.
Thank you. Thank you, Expensive Richard. Okay, moving to Emmanuel Olatidoye. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Are you ready?
Meanwhile, Lola, the account is no longer visible.
What is no longer visible? The account. Okay, let me just
Absolutely.
put that here so you can see it while we're talking. Okay. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for calling my attention to that, Felix. Okay. All right. You can unmute your hand, you can unmute your mic, please. Let's take your question. Are you ready? Emmanuel, are you ready? Emmanuel, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. Okay, let's move to Cornelius. Cornelius, are you ready? Please
Yes, I
unmute
am.
your speak. Fantastic. Okay, what can I do for you?
Good evening, Lala.
Good
My
evening.
own question is simple. Um, is for advice for somebody that is totally alone. Like I don't have any background in tech as it stands now, but I'm attempting to go for one. So what would be your advice to a person like me? Thank you.
You don't have a background in tech. Hmm.
Yes, yes, I
How
don't have
come?
anyone, but
Okay,
I
please go on.
I went okay. I don't have background in anyone, but I am aspiring to go into tech. But there are a lot of things, there are a lot of information going on, and I am a kind of confused on which one will I go for and which one really worth my time and success if I should go for it. So I'm asking to know to get your advice. Thank you.
Mm. Okay, what do you currently do?
I'm just doing a business, finance and stuff.
You do business. What kind of business? If you can share that, that would be helpful context.
Should I say should?
You sell
Okay,
shoes. Okay.
okay.
Okay, shoot. Okay, fantastic. So it means that you're already an entrepreneur. Okay, so would you say that you're comfortable learning new tools? Maybe we can use, do you know how to use, do you have ChatGPT downloaded on your phone? Do you have it downloaded? Like the
Yes,
ChatGPT app?
yes,
You
I
do?
have it, but I don't. Yes, but I don't use it often. But I
You
have
don't
it in
open.
my
Okay. So, but would you say that when it comes to learning new tools, especially if you know that there's going to be value from that, do you think that's something that you're willing to do? Like a technical tool, like something like learning how to use Chat GPT. That is something that you're open to, especially since you're also exploring tech. Is that correct?
yeah.
Okay. So the reason why I'm asking, if I combine that, your desire to learn, and then I also combine the fact that you're an entrepreneur, and then you don't also have a background in tech as well, I would recommend, it's all leading me to one path, the AI automation engineer track. That's what it's leading me towards. And that's because as an entrepreneur, you already understand business. You understand how to sell. You understand how to recognize opportunities. You understand how to optimize processes and drive revenue, because that is the whole point of your business. So if you take this knowledge, this background, and again, you don't have any background in tech, but you do have amazing transferable skill. It is not easy for you to run your own business. That is a killer transferable skill. It means that across the board, you are a one-man army. And that is exactly what the AI automation engineering track is going to help you. It's going to help equip you with. You're going to learn how to build AI agents that you can sell to anyone. So you already have a business mind, you have a creative mind, you have a problem solving mind, and now you're just going to be using tech to take that to the next level. So I would recommend that you go for the AI automation engineering track. What do you think?
Okay, that's nice. I will consider it.
Fantastic. So have you locked down your spot? I would suggest that you lock down your spot immediately, because once we get up to 20 people, we're locking this down. And to anyone who is not sure about what track they want to go for, I would say make your payment, secure your spot, and then get into a clarity session where you have access to career consultants who you can have a one-on-one chat with and who can help, clarify clarify the path forward for you. But at the very least, you have locked down your spot. Okay, thank you so much, Cornelius. We also have Emmanuel. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Good evening.
Hi.
Yeah, Emmanuel is my name, Ajiboye. The first question I want to ask is somebody that have a diploma in computer science and have a BSc in business administration. What course is this suitable? Why is working as an admin in a company? Which course do you think is suitable for the person to take? And the
You work
number
as
two is And the number two is
okay.
this, I'm trying to fill the form on the Google Docs and I think I don't know, it's not coming on. I'm pressing and touching it. It's not, I can't fill the form. Can you
Okay.
make it?
Okay. You said when you click on the form, you can't fill in the fields.
Yes.
Okay. So when you load it, this is what you see, right? You see this.
In fact,
Okay.
even I just have to screenshot something. I cannot.
Okay. So you can't click on this. You can't put in your email here. You can't put in your
Yes.
details here. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. So what I would suggest you do is, are you using your phone?
Yes. I'm using phone.
Okay, so I suggest that you close your Chrome browser or whatever browser it is that you're using. Just close it completely and then come back and click on the form again and see if that works. I'm confident that it will.
Okay.
Okay, so to answer your first question, you work as an admin at the moment. You did computer science, business administration, and you're wondering which track would be the perfect fit for you. What's your personality like? Would you say that you're a people person? Do you like people?
Yes.
You like people, so you like to talk to people.
Not as a marketer, not as a. I think I did a marketing job one time and I ran away from it because of the stress I passed through.
Okay.
But I'm working back end, like in the church. I am the sound engineer and I work at the back end, not interacting with people, but I still talk to people anyway. And so, in office, admin, designing, and administrative job, and my certificate is not even related to all the thing I'm talking about now. So I only give you the 2 degree is BS in business administration, but before the degree, diploma in computer science.
Okay. So
in the office.
I would suggest that you go for automation engineering. And the reason why I'm suggesting automation engineering is because I don't want to put you down. I don't want to lock you into a spot. I don't want to lock you into project management, which is what I was thinking before, but then it might not be the right fit for you. I don't want to lock you because then you have to have some background as well, some context to it before you can say, I want to use AI to optimize this. And you would be lacking in that context. The same thing applies across the board for HR, for data, for data, most likely. So I would say you have 2 possibilities. There's data, AI in data analysis, because what you do right now, you also deal with data. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, but then another thing could be optimizing processes, fixing problems, and then saying, how can we solve this? And that is exactly what AI engineering, AI automation engineering is going to give to you. It's going to open more opportunities for you as opposed to locking you into data, which is what you currently do. So the best fit is generative AI for data analysis. So you can go for that. But then what I would suggest, I think you would actually love this one. And this is because of some of the things I've heard you say. I would suggest you go for AI automation engineering. Yes. So if you're looking for best fit, data analysis, but if you're looking for what I think you would actually really truly love, even though it's not necessarily in your particular line right now, I would say go for generative AI.
Okay, generative AI and project
Automation.
management.
No, not
Uh,
generative AI for project management. I meant automation engineering. So you have two
okay.
best fits. You have automation engineering, which is where you build large language models, and then you also have generative AI for data analysis. So I'm saying that between both of them, I think the best one for you to go for is automation engineering.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
I hope
but
I've
the fee
answered
I
your
need
question.
to, the deposit I need to drop for that it should be 40 or 70.
70,000. So your first installment is 70,000, and then
And
subsequent payment is 40,000.
the total payment is
150. So if you make your payments today, you can lock it down at the discount, and then your next payment will be 40,000, and then your third payment will be 40,000 as well. Or you can make your full payments at once.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. You're very welcome. Okay. Who else do we have? We have Joshua Adenuga. Joshua Adenuga, you're up. Please unmute your mic. Let's get your question.
Hello, please confirm you can
Hello,
hear me.
loud and
Yeah,
clear.
good evening from here. Okay, so my question is this: what I've seen you shown, my interest is in the engineering part actually, as the but beyond or automation, my focus is on the agent part. But from the tools you've shown, I can see they are majorly no code or low code tools. Yeah, so do you have program for tools that you need to program, that you need to use maybe Python for another? Because if I want to go into core LangChain or building AI agent, I'm working on some projects with some engineers, and I need to understand the core of what they are doing.
Okay. I'm curious about that. You say you're working on some project with some engineers and you want
Yeah,
to understand the core of what they're doing. What kind of project it is? You don't have to dive deep into the details, but just like top level would be great.
yeah, so I have done created a health application where I put AI assistant to help doctors. But right now, I'm working on AI agent for customer service, majorly because I believe chatbots are dumb. I want something that when you pick up your phone and call, instead of saying press one to do this or press two to do this, you speak with an agent and you wouldn't even know that you're speaking with AI and to solve your problem. So I need to understand the core of what to do, even though you display tools like anything and all that. But we'll be doing some coding too.
Okay. Well, no, to answer your question, no, you do not have to be technical. You do not know, you don't need to learn how to code from scratch. And which is why we're saying that you can come in and you can learn this in 8 weeks. If you had to learn how to code, it would take longer for you to learn how to do it. And that is the beauty of all of these AI tools. It's the fact that things that used to take people months to do, years to develop, you can now use them and you can build them using no-code tools and still achieve the same result as someone who would build them the traditional way using tools like using programming languages and others like Python and all of that. And you can achieve this using no-code tools. You can use AI tools to generate your code. You can use AI tools to debug your code. And trust me when I say you can move much faster than someone who is doing it custom, because in many of these cases it's just a drag and drop, and then in many of these cases template, and then all you have to do is customize it for your use case. So you don't have to learn how to code, not involve coding. It's why we said you can come in and learn this in 8 weeks. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, yeah, you are. You have. Okay. Okay, that's fine. I
Okay.
won't be joining the course you are putting up in December, because your guys can reach out to me. I'll probably join in January. I have an ongoing training. So I'll
Okay.
join in
Okay.
January.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah,
If you
thanks. I
don't
hope
mind,
I
could you
can drop
share?
off, right?
What? Could you repeat that again?
I say I hope I can leave the call. I can drop off, right?
Yes, but just I think maybe you're a co-host, but just make sure you don't end the call for everyone. But before you drop off, you can share your email address and your phone number in the chat section so that my colleagues can pick that up and reach out to you. And then another thing that I would say is also lock down your spot as well. And then you can say, okay, I want to start in January, but you should lock down your discount. But I can't say for sure if this discount will be available in January when you're ready to start. But first step, drop down your details. My colleagues will pick that up and reach out to you to continue the conversation. Thank you very much, Joshua.
Yeah, you're welcome, Lola. The focus is not the discount. Don't worry. I may even bring someone that will join us. But let me
Okay.
just know what needs to be done.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Thank
Yeah.
you, Joshua.
Yeah, you're
All right.
welcome.
Okay, we've got one more hand up. That's Augustus Nwachukwu. Augustus, you want to raise your hand? Do you want to unmute your mic and speak?
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening, Augustus.
So I had a question I wanted to ask, but I've been chatting with I think your colleague on WhatsApp, but she hasn't really answered the question. So let me ask here. I currently work in the crypto space. I do spot tradings mostly. So I'm trying to develop an AI tool that allows me to do that better, analyzes the market for me faster than what the normal human analysis can do. So I was wondering what course to take, but I think I mistakenly made the 40,000 naira payment already. I didn't select a course on the form, the Google form. I didn't select a course. I just filled out the form and then sent it to your colleagues. So I don't know. Is that what course would you first say I should take, and can that be resolved?
Yes, to answer, I'm going to answer your second question first, and absolutely that can be resolved. Could you just drop your email address and your phone number in the chat, and then my colleagues will reach out to you. But then to rectify it, you can complete the payment. But I'm going to tell you what payment I think you already know what I'm going to suggest to you: AI automation engineering. So you'd be going for the 70,000, not the 40,000, and I'm going to tell you why. That's because you're already operating in two of the most data-rich, fast-paced, and opportunity-heavy fields on the planet. You know, this is crypto and sports trading. You can tell that I'm smiling. I don't know if you can tell how excited I am, because this program was it's built for people like you. Get so much value out of it, because right now you probably have a lot of data, and this is me I'm guessing, so let me know if I'm right. You've got market signals, you've got stats, you've got news feeds. Is this correct? Let me know if I'm wrong.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. So what I'm thinking now is that with all of these problems that you're experiencing, you might be missing out on a lot in your field. So if you're equipped with the skills of an AI automation engineer, you would basically learn how to become your own personal chief of staff, but for trading. Yeah. So you can build. So there's so many opportunities, so many things that you can build. For example, you can build like a 247 market sentiment agent. And what that does is that it basically monitors all your crypto news. It monitors Twitter for you. It monitors Telegram for you. It collects links. It analyzes the links with sentiment. So you use the tool to understand sentiment. Is it bullish? Is it bearish? I'm thinking there's so many opportunities and so many things that you could do and automate with this track. Because of your specific use case, data analyst is not going to work, HR is not going to work, business analyst is definitely not going to work, project managers is not going to work. You're going to be encountering unique problems in this space. And what you need is a track that allows you to take a step back and look at the problem from a general perspective, and then narrow it down into, hey, how can I automate this? Or how can I streamline this process to ensure that I'm getting the most value out of this? And what will help you answer that question and use the tools required for that is the automation engineering track. So this is the one you definitely want to go for. But I have a feeling that you already knew that.
Yes, I actually guessed that, but I wasn't very sure. So I had to confirm.
Okay, are you sure now?
Yes, I feel better about it now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so don't forget to top up your payment, and then you can get started with this track. I can actually guarantee that this is not one that you're going to regret. This is the perfect fit for what you do. Okay,
All right.
thank you very
So
much,
sorry,
Augustus.
1 minute, please. Just to clarify, I have to top up to the 70, right? And then I can do the remaining payment later.
Yes, that is correct.
All right, then. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, I don't think we have any other hands up. I know my colleagues have been in the chat answering questions that we have there. But thank you so much, guys. This is 10:22, and you all have been on this call. Some of you have been here since 8. That's 2 hours and almost 30 minutes that we have spent together. So for everyone who stayed here, I hope you got value for your time. And then for the people who have locked down your spots, amazing. For those of you who have not, please, what are you waiting for? 2026 is right around the corner, and you want to be prepared to take advantage of the opportunities in the market. So I hope to see you guys starting with us. I hope to see you in our next cohort. I hope to see you taking advantage of this. I'm going to leave you with one thing that I want you to think of as we leave this call is, what is 2026 going to look like for you? What is it going to look like for you? This is not a marketing gimmick. This is transformative, and we have done this for over 3,000 people over and over again. You can check out our LinkedIn, check out our Instagram, and see all of the fantastic, amazing testimonials of real people. You can also reach out to them and confirm everything that we have just said to you. But if you are ready to fully step in, then lock down your spot, secure your discount, and get started. So hope to see you guys in our next cohort. If you don't join us for our December cohort, then make sure you do not miss the January one. But get started before 2026 comes around. So thank you very much on behalf of my colleagues and I. We wish you a fantastic night, morning, or afternoon, whatever your time zone is. Thank you, everyone, and bye.